Hello, malt mates. Welcome to the Whiskey Bothy. I'm Ralphie. I am the host on this channel, and I have recently completed review number 1092. I can't even remember what I've last reviewed, but never mind, the show goes on. Yeah, it was 1092. Not 91. It's 191 or 92. And I did something very, very unusual on this channel. I introduced, really for the first time, a whiskey that I actually bought over 8 years ago. I opened it 8.5 years ago, and I reviewed it in a much earlier video. And rather than just finishing the bottle of whiskey and then opening another one, I have kept this in basically a bookshelf, which I call my vintage archive stash. And a stash, by the way, is just a collection of liquor bottles. It's a stash. Just like a tobacco stash or a coin stash. It's a bottle stash. And this is kind of weathered away in the bottle, half full. Springbank 11-year-old local barley, cask strength, 11 years, so it's a younger whiskey at high strength, and therefore it tends to weather quite well over time. It's not as fragile as some of these really old single malts, which are bottled at lower strength. And they're fragile and they're delicate and they tend to oxidize more quickly and lose their nature. And this is a fear that many, many whiskey drinkers have, is the deterioration in the bottle of the liquor once you open the bottle. And I want to reassure you, depending on your location and how you store your whiskey, it's far less of a problem than you might think. So here in the extras, 1091 or 92 extras, I'm really going to introduce 5 other bottles from my vintage library stash. Bottles that I opened years ago, and I've never finished them. And do you know what? Here's the head twister. I might never finish them. I might be dead before they're finished. But frankly, I don't care, because I'll be dead and I won't even notice, and I just don't care. A little distraction, by the way, a little distraction, it won't take long. I was in the local town, and one of the young lads who knows I'm a bit eccentric, right, hands up, I confess. He says, "Ralphie, what's the meaning of life?" And someone had asked him this question, and it'd been a kind of trip-up quiz question, right? And he got answers from different... He was tripping in the fact that he was getting different answers from different people, and a lot of the answers were religious. And without missing a beat, I didn't think about it. I just said, the meaning of life is to experience the journey. And I left it at that. And he kind of puzzled and had a thought about it, and then he went away. And I thought, actually, I'm very, very happy with the answer I gave there. So, back to the review. I better start introducing these whiskies shortly. And so I've got this stash, this library of the best whiskies. The whiskies I've really enjoyed so much, I've never really wanted to let them go. They're not just the standard whiskies. I review a lot of whiskies in this channel, and some of them are perfectly competent, but they're quite forgettable. They tend to be chill filtered. They tend to have caramel colourant added to them, and you tend to find them in travel retail or the supermarket or on Amazon at a discount. It's just the way things are getting easier for us to focus on where the more interesting and better whiskies are. They're in the specialist retailers, because they are the shops that have lots of small contracts with small companies like the independent bottlers and the little distilleries that they will actually stock their product, and they have the experience and the staff and the motivation to sell them. And once they get to know the regular customers by sight, by name, then they say to themselves, actually, we've got a regular customer here, let's keep them right, let's give them the extra quality of experience to keep our business with them. And do you know what? It really, really works. This has been a fantastic to whisky, to review the same whisky from the same bottle 8 years, almost right, 8.5 years after I opened it. In the old days, this never ever used to happen. It was unthinkable. The old Scottish tradition was you wait till you've got a group of friends and you've had your haggis, you've had your Scotch broth, blah, 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 and you pull the cork off and you throw it away because you won't be needing it again, because if you put the cork back on, it means you're a meanie and miserable and unhospitable. And that was the dogma. And you'd take the whisky as you got it because the master blender knows best, and the master blender just bottles at that strength because it's just perfect for the whisky. See all that nonsense and absurdity? It's now a quaint historical reference. That is all it is. Everything is changing in whisky right now, and the smart companies, the smart businesses, the competent distillers who focus on the quality and unpretentious packaging and deliver an affordable price into the market without BS and ridiculous narrative and wasteful packaging, they've got tomorrow's customer, because the alcohol scene is changing so dramatically at the moment. So let's get stuck in. I bought this bottle years ago, 19-year-old St Magdalen Rare Malt Selection. I opened it and reviewed it. Fabulous whisky, Lowland. Very, very impressive. It's one of my all-time favourites. It's a soft whisky with many layers to it. Perfect age for a Lowland whisky, 19. And small batch, cask strength. It's wearing in the bottle very well, and even the cork. Oh, carefully does it. Even the cork, after all these years, is still intact. Now, there's a reason for that. I tend to condition my corks, but I'll explain that in a future video. It's a little technique. I've been experimenting because I'm a bit eccentric. Here's another one. Crawford's 5-star. An old blend from yesteryear where they used with great success plastic screw caps, because there's nothing wrong with them. They work a treat, and you'll find loads of bottles at auction with these caps. The main thing is the foil interior is intact and hasn't been broken. It's better than corks, actually. So I'll put that back again. This is a lower strength blend. It's just an old blend. Will it oxidise? Yeah, it will oxidise a little bit, and it may go a little cheesy over time due to the corn whisky from the column stills. But frankly, I don't care. It's one of these historical bottles that if I wanted to make a whole historical whisky toddy or whatever, it's there. It's the smell and the taste of nostalgia, direct nostalgia. This was bottled and sold when I was a child, and that's quite a few years ago. Here's another one. Remember this? Glendronach, 15-year-old. The Revival. This was the bottle about 10 years ago, now 12 years ago. It suddenly appeared in the shelves from a distillery we had completely overlooked and hadn't seen much of, because it was owned by Pernod Ricard, and they're not interested in bottling single malts apart from Glenlivet. End of. They're not interested. It's not their gig, and they just don't care. So it was sold, and the new owner, he basically took 15-year-old whiskey, put 19-year-old whiskey in it, and sold it for 45 quid a bottle, and it was really, really good. An absolutely classic sherry monster. I bought 6 of these bottles. I still have 5 of them. This is the 6th. I've opened it. I've reviewed it. I'm still sitting there. It's weathering very, very nicely. What I do in this is a little bit of inert gas. Have a listen. Pop it in the bottle. Heavy gas. Put the cork on. Displaces the oxygen. No oxidisation. Works a treat. Used by the wine connoisseurs. Next bottle. Old School Arran. Arran is celebrating 30 years as a distillery in 2025. This is a previous incarnation of Arran. It was delightful. 10-year-old. This is when we started to notice that it was an absolute little banger. A fantastic whisky. And that is what you call natural colour. That is natural colour. Bottled at 46%. Arran learned very quickly. That's why Arran Distillery is respected in the whisky community. And here's the final one. Rundlets and Kilderkins. A version of Springbank. An absolute timeless classic of modern Springbank bottlings. Overlooked, underrated. This is the Long Row 11-year-old Rundlets and Kilderkins. Heavy phenolics. Big, bold, brassy. And as voluptuously, aromatically, fusile peated as it was when I opened it. My bottles are lasting really well over time because I store them in a room at 18 to 20 degrees, nowhere near the sunshine, always in shade. I do not disturb the bottles. This is so important. I don't disturb the bottles and lift them up and hold them around and pass them from hand to hand and go, oh, righto, and shaky, shaky to wet the cork. Behave yourself. Just don't leave them alone. Let them rest. Let them remain still. Because the still waters of the whisky retain the depth of the flavour. And there you have, this is just 6. I've got another 100 of these bottles, easy. That's just one of the stash. Just one stash that I've got. But I thought I'd introduce these. Let you see just the sheer variety of what I have. Blends, peated whisky, sherried whisky, lowland whisky. Very classic whisky. I mean, I'd never pay the money for them now, for this. And the Isle of Arran are always, always, always a classic. And there you have it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this. And pop back again for my next review, because I will be reviewing a single malt Scotch whisky that's readily available and widely accessible, and telling you all about it. Bye-bye.